How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Fat Honey Buns here. Just going over a few chess lessons that might help you out in the future. One of the hardest ones to do is going to be your Knight Bishop Checkmate. So we'll go through it, the sequence of the mating pattern, so you can up your game a tad bit. Probably one of the hardest checkmates to get. There's some others, but I found this one personally to be rather difficult, and I find myself in this position pretty often. So a few key things. You can only checkmate your king on the same color diagonal that your bishop is. So if a light square bishop, you only can check them in the A8 corner or the H1 corner. Your opponent should try to run to H8 or A1 to avoid being checkmated. But if you get this setup right here, with your knight on F7, king F6, and then bishop F5, you should be able to checkmate your opponent. So white to move, you're going to go to bishop H7. Black's king can only move over to this square, so he moves. And then second move, you're going to go knight to E5. Your opponent can move back. So for this first part, we'll go over your opponent constantly trying to get back to the dark corner, simply trying to escape, and then we'll go over some other variations. But regardless, you'll be able to checkmate your king or your opponent. So your king moves back. Trying to move back, all you simply do is check them. And actually, for this, I do want to bring up your knight. Let's start from the beginning. Your knight can The pattern we're going to use for your knight is going to be starting on F7. We're going to go to E5. We're going to go to D7. We're going to go to C5 and then B7, making that W formation. That W formation is going to be critical to keep your opponent's king along along the back rank. He may float up towards the seventh rank, but we can always just jump him back until we get him into A8. So that's the goal. So yeah, just going forward. Opponent moves here. Knight comes back. Opponent's trying to go back. You simply check. King comes back. You come over, and if you see Black's king can't go to the dark square here because the knight covers it. You can't go here because your king is covering it. So his only square is going to be here. You simply move your king over, lining up behind your knight again. The opponent's still trying to go back, so you just check with bishop. And then he's forced to go back to D8. And then once he goes back to D8, you're going to bring your knight back here. Only square he could go to is C8. And then you're going to do a waiting move with your bishop just because he's in this position. And you'll see some of these you'll have to do waiting moves. Some of them they won't. Your opponent's going to come back to D8. Or you're going to just check him. He can't come over here, so he moves back, attacking the knight. You defend, and then you're right here. So the only square that he could go to is D8. You come over. He's still trying to run. You just give him a check. He's coming back, and then as you see, we're on that last square, but trying to go back to C5 eventually. So if your opponent's right here, all you simply do is bring the knight back to C5. Your opponent can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. Can only go back to A8, and that's going to be our checkmate square. So all you simply do is do a waiting move with your bishop. He's going to come over to B8, give a check on A6, only square that he could go. All right. So now we're going to get into where your opponent's king is a little bit more familiar with this checkmating net. So they'll probably do some things to make you do some additional moves. Don't forget that your knight is still going to move in this W pattern throughout the entire movement. Your bishop may do some extra moves, but you'll start the same two moves. Bishop here, knight comes back, and then if your opponent runs this way, all you simply do is play king to E8, moving your king one time. It's going to be essential to protect your knight, and then he's going to run here. All you simply do, bring your knight on the same checkmating area, and you're blocking off those two dark squares, right? If your opponent's trying to escape or run, he may go here or he may go here. Doesn't really matter. We'll say he goes to c6 first. All you do, take your bishop and you're going to cut him off. And if you see, these squares are covered by the bishop. These two squares are covered by the knight, king. So as you can see, your opponent's pretty much, he can't escape. There's no escape squares for black's king. So wherever that your opponent's king goes, typically you're going to throw in an additional waiting move. So if he comes back to c7, all you're simply going to do is bring your bishop up, blocking this key c6 square, and then yet again you can see that all these squares are covered. So your opponent's king, he can't go anywhere. If he goes to b7, which is probably the more difficult move, you will bring your king over to d7, continuing to block off black's escape route. So as you see, there's nowhere that your opponent can go, which is fine. And then if he's continuing, like he doesn't want to go back to the last rank, he goes to a7. All you simply do is you're gonna bring your king over one more time. You see your opponent can't go anywhere, all blocked off. The only square you can go to is a8, which is fine because that's where we want to checkmate your opponent at. And then you bring your knight back, continuing on that W to c5. Your opponent's king can go here, 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 here. That's all fine. You just bring knight down, boom. He goes here, that's fine. He could go here, that's fine. But let's say he goes to b7. All you simply do is you're just going to bring your bishop back. Your opponent can't go anywhere except h8, and then you slide your king over. And I'd really box in black's king. Only move that he could do is that to b8, and then all you're going to do is bring bishop in here along this diagonal, blocking this off away from black's king. And then your opponent goes back here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to the same mating pattern as the first half of this video. Is you're going to bring your knight back. Your opponent, his only square that he could go to is b8. You're going to deliver your check. Still can only go to a8, and then checkmate. So I hope that you learned something from this. I hope this ups your game, helps you grind some of those elo, and get you a little bit better. If you have any questions, by all means, comment, and I'll get to it below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and continue to follow Fat Honey Buns Chess if you want to learn some mediocre chess videos. Have a good day.